Today is January 13th, 2021. Welcome to Darkness and Light. This is not a reading of I am, that much I will say. Although, whatever, I'm feeling really good. I love myself, like I said, for the first time ever, so I'm cool with everything at this point in time. It's funny, because I was streaming earlier and then I had to go talk to the HR department at this job that I just quit, got let go of. I mean, it just didn't work. I'm not, and I'm just not the kind, it just wasn't right for me, right? And I know my light needed to not be there. Um, and I came home from it. I wrote them a long letter. I tried to read it, here, and I just couldn't get through it because reading it and realizing that some people are okay with that. And I knew that those people were like that before. I have been, I wonder what just happened right there. Okay. I have been in this place with these people before, so I knew I tried to believe that I was going to be walking into something different, which was kind of foolish of me. But I learned a valuable lesson, right? Because my gut told me not to do it. And I did it anyway because I kept thinking, oh my gosh, the benefits are great. Because, like, first off, I wanted my son to have a place where he could go to be around people his age, right? Because I have been alone the majority of my life. I have taught him no social skills, right? I like literally, and I know it was the choices that I made that brought. I'm not feeling sorry for myself, right? I know that we have all been alone in times in our life, and that we have had people that we can't count on, right? I know that we all have our own stuff, right? Um, but I was worried about that, so I wanted to go. Like I took a job back at a place, and plus I need to have dental work done, and I can't hear out of one ear, and I need new glasses. And I'm 57. I worked as a waitress for a lot of my life, and my body, although I'm in the best shape I've ever been, so I'm super grateful for everything. I mean, um. I just am, even though everything's kind of up in the air again. But I just knew I didn't belong there. And I have to say, I'm grateful for the HR, Rachel, the HR person, because she knew that I needed to go. She knew that I am not the kind of person who can be put into the positions I was in. I really was put into a position and I started to blame myself when I got home from the meeting. Like I was like, oh, I'm crazy, because I'm crazy. We're all crazy. I'm finally starting to understand my crazy, which I'm grateful for. But so I was blaming my crazy, and what my son said to me is he said, no, Mom, you just wanted to have the tools to be able to do the job that you are capable of doing. I am a customer service guru, baby. I am good at customer service and I am good with people, right? But when I put in a position where I can't do my job, where I make a commitment to a customer and I can't do it because I am not given the proper tools, I get angry, right? And so and crazy or not, that's who I am, right? And so that is what happened. And that said, I think that all of us have many pieces, right? And I mean, I know who my people are, right? I know that when I'm pushed a certain way, I know who comes out, right? And what sucks about it is I can't at this point in time. I see them coming forward, and I do not have the ability to stop it, right? And that's on me. Although, whatever. I shouldn't be put in positions where I can't do my job, because had I not been put in that position, Elm would have stayed inside. She didn't. She came out pissed off. Elm is my little girl who got abused. She gets pissed when people are not respecting her, and she will come out. And that's the thing. I mean, I just wanted respect, and I think we're all there. I don't think it's just me. I'm not all by myself here. That is why they're telling us nobody wants to work, because we all want to be treated with the same respect that Jeff Bezos would get if he walked into a restaurant. Because fuck Jeff Bezos, right? He's using all of us to make all that money, and he gets treated better than we do. That's not right. We're all equal here. He just got lucky. I work just as hard as that man. Trust me. I know this to be true. I mean, I have been set in the middle of a restaurant with over 30, well, no, it wasn't 30 tables, but there was at least three people per head, and it was over 10 tables, all at once, and handled it, right? And that's, I'll get to that job. I was going to go back to Cindy's, but it's just funny to me that people cannot get outside of their own box. And okay, fine, whatever. That's beside the point. I need to get past that. So I'm going to go back to talking about Cindy's after I take a drink of tea. I know I look lovely too, right? I was out playing with my dogs in the rain. So I'm wet. They're wet. They roll around on the carpet though. I'm just wet. But anyway, so Cindy's restaurant was where I worked when I was 16. 16. I worked there actually off and on. I got hired back um, because I would get mad at the way I was being treated and I would leave and then they would hire me back because I'm a good worker. That's how this has happened to me all my life. I know, and they say that when things like that happen to you all your life, maybe it's you. So maybe it is me that I demand respect. I don't know. I guess maybe that's why I'm gonna just go clean because I'm good cleaning if you give me the tools I need. So anyway, I actually I will go back to my previous job for just a minute because I did apologize for my part in it, right? But nobody apologized to me for their part. And it's like I was not singularly responsible, right? So had the manager been managing, we wouldn't have been in the position that we were in that drove me to get upset to that level. I will put it that way. But anyway, so and nobody apologized for that. Nobody was like, "Oh gosh, we're sorry. We put you in where there was a fire and told you to put it out with a squirt bottle." Bad us. Again, that was happened all my life. So anyway, Cindy's. Again, there was a waitress that I worked there. I remember Laura. I can't remember the other one's name, but I remember at the time, and in retrospect, looking back on it, I mean, I don't think I really judged her because I was young and I was living on my own and in my own um, set of messed up circumstances. But I know that she was, I believe that well, I know she had two kids, and I'm pretty sure she worked graveyard. So I know she was working really hard for her kids, right? And again, I remember seeing that and hearing the boss say to me that girls like us, and seeing her and knowing that he was referring to her, right? And me being younger than that. And in retrospect, looking back and realizing, girls like what, Jim? Girls like what? Who were we, Jim? We worked hard for you. Girls like you was what he said to me. I I don't understand. I was a 16-year-old girl living on my own, working to take myself to Europe, which I did go. I did. I went over there with more money than anybody else. I sent myself there graduating high school. That was my graduation gift to myself. My mom gave me 50 bucks and I went to Europe and went on the Eurorail for 3 weeks, right? And I was like, I turned 17 that summer. That was what I did for myself, right? But girls like me, he said. I mean, and I listened to that, even though I took myself to Europe, right? I mean, I cannot fathom. I wish, because I know that that's why I was so grateful to be working at the college, right? Because I know I was young, I was college age, right? Well, yeah, I was graduating high school for God's sake, so I was young. And I know that there are so many girls out there like that that have heard those words, right? Girls like you. And I listened to that all of my life until now. And even people say it in unspoken ways all the time. They dismiss you, they pat you on the head, and they tell you that oh, we hear you, we hear what you're saying to us, and then turn around and don't do anything to make it better, right? So, I know that I'm not alone, and I wanted to give some of those girls some hope because I keep thinking, right? Well, I know I've done better. I mean, I'm in a house that's a little bit bigger than what we need, and the mortgage is, thank God, paid for 2 months. Thank you again, Rachel. She really did take care of me, and I appreciate it. I will make sure and send her a thank you because she truly did hear me, right? And so, and knew that it wasn't going to get better and I needed to go because, and that's cool. Had they just heard what I was saying, it would have been okay, but they can't. And I couldn't not say it. So it was a lose lose, right? Anyway, back to Cindy's. I keep going back. I need to be in this moment still, you know? That's the thing. Hopefully, cleaning. I like cleaning. I'm good at it. I'm good at it. I do a good job. I love the ocean. It's Sun Communities, which is on the ocean. I'm going to go in there tomorrow and just take in my resume and say, I see you're hiring and I'm a good cleaner and I need a job and I've got a reliable car and I come to the ocean all the time anyway. So hire me. And just think I'll be able, because I know that when they talked about it before, the job, the, uh, the hours vary. So I never know for sure when I'm going to be working. So I can catch the ocean at so many different times that way, which is really cool. So, because this is what I want to do. I'm tired, right? I don't want to be anybody's lapdog or doormat or dumping ground. I just don't. And I want an appreciation of the fact that I'm a hard worker and I want respect. And if I can't get those things, then I want people to just leave me alone and let me work, right? And it looks to me like I'm not going to get those things. So hopefully I can just put my head down and do a job and stay active and be by the ocean, right? And be like that guy that's out there, right there. See him out there in that ocean? I see him out there. I want to be you. I have time. I still have time. I'm sorry. Oh, I gotta stop. Okay, I'm doing this to nature sound, so if you're there, which, yeah, nobody's there, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. I'm over that. Anyway, I know I was talking about Cindy's. I don't know. I'm just babbling. Whatever. Nobody's there. I just need to talk, and my son is so tired of listening to it. Like, and it's just. So I'm gonna go back to Cindy's. Anyway, there was a woman that was working there, and I know she used to go out to the trucks a lot with the truck drivers. And in retrospect, I totally get it. You know, our world has made it so hard on us, especially this country, because there are people that think that they have a right to look down on you, right? And they've been given that, and it's just gotten worse. It's not getting better. And I look at like my supervisor at this job, right? She's a mess. I mean, they're telling me you have the support of her, and I look at her, and if she doesn't have makeup on, she's gray. She's pregnant, she's sick, she's tired. She tells me she's pregnant by a man who is controlling. She's got two kids by another man who they were fighting over custody, even though he's never paid a dime for those kids. You know, and I'm looking, and she's pregnant, bringing another child into this world, right? And my son, who is 21, and she's older, so it's right. And then there's my son, who is 21, and he just wants to go on a date with somebody, and all of the people have kids, and he's like, our world, we're screwed. I mean, and he's right. Look at it, right? And then there's like the self-esteem is pretty much nil. Our mental health as a whole in society is just shot to shit, right? Like me, I'm 57 and finally realizing that I don't even know. I don't want to say because this sounds so extreme and so dramatic, but it's like multiple personality disorder because my son and I were talking about it the other day, and I was like, well, no, because you would have to dress and act different. It's like, and I do, right? And I mean, I don't know. It was just like he was like, I kept thinking of all the things you would have to do, Mom, in order to have that, and realize that you do those things. So I don't totally lose time, but I do a little. Um, Not a lot, but I do lose some time, and so it's interesting. There's a lot of time I've lost when I was younger because I believe that I needed protection, man. I was getting And I know I'm not alone. I'm not, feel sorry for me because I was both physically, sexually, mentally, both, all of, I was abused in a lot of different ways, for all of my life until I got sober. And then I was abused in jobs, right? Because that's how people are treated and it's fine, right? We're good with that. So, I know I'm not alone. I know that there were other girls in my high school in the same boat, right? Um, and I want to be a voice, right? Like, I moved out really young because of the abuse, right? And I bounced around a lot, throughout my life, and I've bounced through a lot of jobs, which is what I'm supposed to be talking about right now. But I know I'm not alone. I see it in everybody, right? I see like here's what gets me is like the people at this job that hate me the most are the ones that I actually care about the most, right? And that is what is painful. Like they're the ones that didn't want to see me succeed, and all I wanted to do was be a light for them, right? And it just got twisted and I became dark, and I don't get that. Like I just wanted to help. I wanted to be a positive force. I wanted for them to see that you can be a homeless drug addict and then love yourself on the other side of that and become an active social human being again, right? Well, not social because nobody wants to hear that. They just want to sit in that. And I don't understand. I don't get that. Like, that's why I can't go to AA, right? Because because people don't want to get out of the misery. They just want to stay in it. And like I have stayed in it. My poor son, I have talked about it and beat those dead horses and beat my head against those walls and been in the depths of despair where I didn't want to wake up again tomorrow recently, right? Like I would never take myself out because I love my family too much, right? And because I'm still curious, even though it's getting harder and harder and harder to think there is something better on the other after all this work, right? It's getting harder to feel like I have done it for a reason besides, I don't even know. I don't even think I believe in anything anymore. So, besides the fact that I'm still here and I can't go anywhere. So, I need to make the best of it. So, I want to be that guy out there in that ocean, in that boat, right? I want to be that woman on that surfboard at 60 years old. Not even want to be. I am going to. I am that person. I am that person, right? And so I can't be somewhere where that's not who I can be, where um the people around me are so afraid of change that they have to send it away. How sad is that? God, it's just heartbreaking to me. And that's where I'm at, right? So I'm just going to keep talking to space, I guess, and doing my artwork and hopefully get hired to clean. I don't, I can clean. Maybe that won't be too much for me, right? Although it wouldn't have been too much for me had I had the help. It's funny, when they finally gave me the help, yeah, I knew. I knew. I don't think that the people that were giving me help knew that it was because they were firing me. I thought it was because they figured they were finally giving me help, right? Instead, it's because they were going to let me go, which I find ironic because these same people were the same ones that probably won't say a word, right? They probably won't say, wow, really? That's what you guys did? That's how you guys did that. You put that person in there, you let her burn, and then you let her go. That's what you did. And these people are comfortable in that. Because I was in a room where a lot of people saw me on fire. Actually, Jerry did say something, and I felt kind of bad. I think I freaked her out. I think she was afraid because I told her I was tired of this life. Actually, I think what she heard me say was, I'm tired of this fucking life. So I think they worried about that. You know what? The only thing that that did is like, yeah, there are times when I feel like I don't want to wake up tomorrow. Who doesn't? And if you don't, well, then you have no feelings whatsoever. And I'm sorry for you because well, actually, I'm not. I'm glad that people actually, let me rephrase that. See, I don't want to be that person either. I am glad that there are people out there who do not feel like, who have never felt that. I don't know if I'm glad about that or not. I feel like we all should feel that way sometimes to understand why other people feel that way. It's just like I understand school shooters, right? I don't understand their actions at all. I could never do something like that, ever. Are you kidding? I literally have a hard time killing flies. I like I get spiders from buildings to take them outside. I don't see any point in all that, right? Live and let live. But I understand them, right? I understand people that don't believe the same things that I believe because we are all raised in a different way. What I don't understand is not having empathy for others. What I don't understand is not being able to see other people's pain, right? What I don't understand is scapegoating. I don't understand not taking responsibility for your actions. That's what I don't understand. And I don't want to judge for that because I think we're all trying to survive. And I believe that the person that did this to me is in a really bad situation. And it's unfortunate, but I'm not going to suffer for that. Well, I was kind of, so I'm just glad to be away from it. But anyway, I am going to go talk again about Cindy's. I don't know, we're all crazy. Anyway, so Cindy's restaurant. So yeah, so then I did go to Europe, and it's funny because I went to Europe and I was um Engaged. Well, I wasn't engaged. It was my first real love. His name was Mike Stiers. I loved him so much. I thought I was young and in love. He did some shit to me though one time. This is I don't know where I was working at this time. It couldn't have been, I had to have been still working at the fast food restaurants because I was living with my mom and I moved out young. So my dog is just thinking she needs attention all the time. I have to pet her. But anyway, because I was still living with my mom and my boyfriend, Mike Stiers, had just moved out himself. So it must have been just before I moved out. But so we lived in Dixon, which was like 16 miles away from Davis, where I went to school. And my mom and her husband went on this trip. And Mike had told them that he was going to come and pick me up and take me home every day. Well, he didn't do that. I got left in town for like a week. It was pretty brutal. I was in high school. It was just before I moved out, though. So that might be one of the reasons why I made the decision to move out. Um, but anyway, yeah, I got left. And so I stayed at this one girl's house for a couple of days. And I remember her mom just after I think it was like 3 days, her mom was like, "So, is anyone coming to get you?" Or, it was really. And so then I remember finally getting a hold of Mike and him showing up to get me. I'd stayed at the school, and the whole time that he was supposed to come get me, I was making him this ring. And I had been working on it too, and it looked really cool. I made it, it was like a square, and it had like a black onyx stone in it, and it had an M that I had engraved in it. And I had worked on it the whole time waiting for him to come pick me up. And finally, like I said, this girl, her parents let me crash their house for about 3 nights. And then finally, it was just like I had overstayed my welcome. And Mike finally agreed to come and get me. So I gave him the ring that I had been working on for him. And he had hickeys all over his neck. I remember I was just like, oh my God. But he took me home at least. So, there was that. But Jesus. I was working actually. I must have still been working at Carl's Jr.'s. I don't think I was working yet. Actually, it was probably just before like I got jobs and moved out. So it had to have been like my first year of high school. Um, I was cleaning houses. I'd always cleaned houses since I turned 12. So, but I must have been 14 because I started working and moved out at 15 shortly after that. So, yeah, that was pretty brutal and embarrassing. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. He was the one that I worked at Cindy's. That's right, because he got in trouble and had to go into the service because he got in trouble with the law. And back then it was like either you go into the service or you go to jail. And so he went to the service and got sent over to Germany. And I was so in love with him, even after he did that to me, that I worked really, really hard and made a bunch of money and went over to Europe to see him. It was quite a trip. I was so young though, right? I mean, I didn't even really know what I was experiencing. um, I remember for some reason I was by myself. It was before because it was me and him and then one of his buds and his bud's girlfriend, and it was before she had gotten there. She got there a few days after me, but left at the same time. So it was before she got there. And for some reason, I was by myself and I was in a bar and I could drink, right? Because over there was no drinking age. And so, but I mean, I had never been to a bar. I was young, right? But I drank. I mean, of course, I started drinking at 12. But it was so funny because I ordered all I could, because didn't speak the language. I was by myself in this bar and I ordered what it ever started with an M, thinking I was getting like a margarita, and it was a freaking martini. That was straight vodka. It was so funny. Oh my God. And on that trip, he was such a shit. We were in Paris in this hotel, and there was this briefcase by this telephone, and he fucking picked it up on our way into the elevator. We almost got arrested. It was just, oh my gosh, that was so funny. Holy cow. I look at pictures of me back then and I thought I was fat, right? I thought I was the fat girl. It's so funny. I weighed less than I do now. I was not fat, for God's sakes. Again, our world is so messed up, but I was treated really poorly. I mean, I was talking the other day about how, I was left out in the country to walk home multiple times. I was passed around a lot. I was looking for love. I thought that eventually somebody would care about me. They didn't. So, that's that. I mean, I drank a lot, and I ran from it a lot. And I don't know. I mean, like I said, I worked at Cindy's, and at that time I was totally like I didn't do anything. I went to Europe, and after I went to Europe and came back, I cheated on Mike, but he treated me kind of shitty when I was there. You know, he treated me shitty before he left. So, but it's funny because he was super, super like bigot. He was a bigot. His dad was a cop and he had a cop dog, and his dad's cop friend took us and fucking gave us cocaine, and I was like a little girl. I mean, what? Oh my God, it was crazy. We were coming back from, we went to the Bay Area with his cop, his dad's friend who was a cop, and we were snorting coke on the way back in the car, and I blew out because I was young. I didn't. Oh my God, that's insanity. Anyway, he was a total bigot, so I cheated on him with an African American guy. Oh, he was pissed. He didn't talk. I don't think he ever spoke to me again after that, to tell you the truth. I might have seen him, but I think he cut me off. I think that did it for him. Yeah, it was funny. But anyway, so then I think that at that point was when I moved to Sacramento. Pretty soon after. No, 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 no. Yeah, I did. I moved to Sacramento and started working at a job. It was called Epi's Restaurant, and I was living in this little apartment. I had bulimia. No, I didn't. Did I have bulimia then? I know I was eating a lot. I don't think I had bulimia, but I was definitely drinking a lot and binging a lot. And I think my weight probably got up. I don't know, but I would get off work and I would go to the store down on the corner, and I would buy those gross sandwiches that they pre-made sandwiches and chips, and like, oh my God, just thinking about it makes me want to barf. But I was living alone and I was really afraid. I've always been afraid, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. But that was when the guy I was talking about before, there was a guy that had really bad PTSD, and every once in a while he would just like go into that, and everybody duck, and it was just like, what? Because I was working graveyard shift at this place by myself right off the freeway. Yeah. And then there was a factory that was around the corner, and they got out for lunch every day at the same time, and it was probably about 5:30, maybe 5:15, something like that. And the other waitress came on shift at 6, right? And so those people would come in and fill the restaurant, and I would be the only person there, and I would be running my ass off, and the other waitress would come in, go sit in the back, have a cup of coffee, smoke a cigarette, because we could smoke in there back then, just kick back. I'd be running my ass off. I would be so busy. And at the time, it's funny because Laura, the waitress who I first, she like was a really strong woman, and I always admired her, right? And so she wore these shoes. They were Cherokees, and they were platforms. So the back were this high and the front were like this high, right? And so I wore those shoes, and oh my God, my feet. I remember I would get off work and I would take those shoes off and just rub the balls of my feet on the carpet in the back room because my feet would just be, ugh. And that was too, we had to total out our tips and stuff before or after we got off work, right? It's just, I'm pretty sure, I think it was when we got off the clock after we did all of our side work and stuff, right? But that job was a trip. And the apartment that I was living in, I did have a car at the time. My mom's, this was before I got in the really bad wreck, but I had a Pinto. It was a green Pinto when I first started working there. The interior was green, the outside was green. And I remember I got off from work one day and the sun was shining in my eyes. And I got in this really bad accident and my car was totaled. So I got a bike and started riding my bike back and forth to work. And I would get off work in the morning and I would go sit in this bar and read a book and order drinks from this bartender. I remember I loved the way her eye makeup was. I would watch her eye makeup and I learned how she did it and I would did my eye makeup that way for a while when I wore makeup. I don't wear makeup anymore, but it was just I've just done so much stuff and it's crazy to me that I'm still here doing this stuff, right? It's like working there. I remember I was dating the manager. He was the African American guy, actually, that I cheated on my boyfriend with. And he was stealing money, blaming it on me. Come to find out, I think. I'm pretty sure that I heard that when I left. Because what happened, oh my God, this is a story. I had, I was always an alcoholic and I was always looking for something outside of myself, right, to feel better. And so I got really drunk one night with my girlfriend Nikki, and we went to this bar up the street that was a strip bar. And after hours, like we got really drunk and we auditioned, I guess. And I know I was trashed. I don't even know what happened that night. I remember waking up in the parking lot in my car, lost my keys. Somehow we got back into my house, like we climbed down around a balcony on through the window somehow, and my keys were in my apartment locked in there. I don't know how that happened. Um, but I got Nikki back home and I had to work that night after going into that bar. It was right, like I worked at Eppie's, which is right here, and the bar was like literally across the street, right? And I knew it was a strip bar and I thought that it would be an easier way to make money. And so I'd always thought about going over there and doing that because I was tired of waiting tables, right? It was just, I always, like, I would get so full and I would be all by myself and I would run my ass off and I just didn't want to do that, right? I've been doing that all my life though. It never stopped. It never stopped. It has never stopped. And I know I'm not the only person. Ah! Anyway, I went over there and got super drunk and I auditioned after hours. And so the whole bar showed up after at 2 o'clock in the morning. All of the people that were there the night before came over, and I was so embarrassed I walked off the job. And I got a job at that point working. I really think it was a cult. I was working for Sensation selling this cleaner door to door. And it's funny because I got the job and I was at a pretty low point right then, right? Because I had just walked off of a job because the strip bar crew across the street came in when I had made an ass out of myself, drunk off my ass on the stage the night before. Who knows? Had I stayed and waited on them, they may have hired me, but I was just too embarrassed. I felt like a fool, right? Because I knew I was trashed and I couldn't find my car. I mean, I found my car and couldn't find my keys. I mean, I didn't even know what happened. So I had no idea. I had no idea what happened that night. And anyway, so I just know I was super embarrassed. So I quit and I got a job working for a door-to-door sales company, and they hired me and I needed to leave right away. So I had my girlfriend unpack my apartment. I ended up losing my car. My mom gave it away. I lost all my stuff. I don't know what happened. I think they packed away some of it, but I lost a lot of it. They used the car for a couple weeks. I mean, it was just, but that's okay. I went with this door-to-door sales company that was really kind of a cultish experience. If you didn't sell enough product during the day, then you had to go to a meeting. I think it was at 9 or 10 at night, and the owner of the company, his name was Richard. I can't even remember what his last name was. His fingers were bent crooked, and I know like he was a real cokehead, and he had a Ferrari, and he had this really pretty girlfriend, and he had this great dog that was a Shar. But Rick, his name was Rick. God, what was his last name? I cannot remember. But we had to get up in the morning and we had to go to meetings and where he would lecture us on, he would tell us that the only difference between a rut and a grave is the depth, and that all of these people that are out there going from one job to home to one job to home are in a rut. And I'll tell you what, I'm thinking right now maybe he did influence me more than I realized because I kind of agree with him in that, right? But shit. But, and then it's like, and then we would get in these vans and we would go have breakfast. We would go to a drive-through or something and eat breakfast. And there were different, the drivers of the vans, that's all they did. They were the special people. All they had to do was drive you around and find good neighborhoods for you. They were given maps and they would find neighborhoods and you got dropped off and you had to sell 2 pints and a quart a day was the minimum that you had to sell. But some people, like I remember Denise Kukla, that was her name, Denise Kukla. She had the hots for me, boy. She freaking gave me this dime. She had this diamond and ruby ring that I told her I really liked because rubies are my birthstone. And she told me she'd give it to me if I left my boyfriend and dated her. I should have done that because she was a good salesperson and she was a lot better than Gene George. He treated me really poorly. But anyway, it was really funny. But there were the people that didn't have to sell. They just had vans and they drove us around and dropped us off in neighborhoods and we had to sell product, right? We had to knock on doors and sell product. And if you didn't sell your product for the day, you had to go to a meeting where you got lectured and told, I don't know, just listen to him lecture to you for an hour. And we lived in hotels, and there was like not enough beds for everybody. So a lot of times the lowest salesperson would have to sleep on the floor, and it's like they gave you enough money to eat. But you pretty much 2 pint or what we had to sell was, when I say 2 pints and a quart, it was $125 a day, I think, was what we had to sell. And that included our room and maybe enough to eat for the day, right? Um, I can't remember how it worked, but at the end of every week, if you sold enough, they would give you some money. And there was usually flea markets and stuff, and we would go buy like nice new clothes and stuff. But I remember that just before I got away from that, although I need to go away for a minute. Um, anyway, I don't know if I mentioned, but with that cult, I was there, and I truly believe it was definitely a cult like experience, right? I think that did it for a year and a half, and at the time I was dating, like I said, a guy named Gene Theodore George, and he was abusive. I mean, it's just the way it is, right? And he cheated on me with other girls that were, going around with us and stuff, and it was like really traumatic for me because you know, I walked in one time and he was like in bed with my roommate, I think is who it was actually. I'm pretty sure I came into my own space and they were in bed together. So that was kind of a drag. And at that point in time, that was when I actually lost it and decided to go. But the guy Rick, who was the cult leader, I remember him saying to me that my sales were really bad that week. And he was like, your sales were bad and I've done so much for you. And look at the difference in you now from when you came here. Look at how much better off you are. Look at how much you've grown. And I looked like shit. And I had gained weight and I was drinking every day as much as I possibly could, right? And so still, I mean, even in those times, I knew enough about myself to know I deserved more than that, right? And so I left. But what I did was, I remember this too. I had gotten dumped off in a neighborhood in Colorado, and for some reason, no, I was by myself. Jean wasn't with me. I was sitting on this rock in the middle of this field, and I was looking at the mountains, and I was thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? Right? And so I got I don't think I did any sales that day. But I went to Gene and I told him I was leaving. And I said I'm not doing this, I want a bus ticket home. These people said they would give me a bus ticket home. I'm going to go home. And so of course he was like, "Oh, la la la." And so we ended up taking the money that they would have given us and hitchhiking to Florida. So, so then, yeah, I ended up in Florida with Gene because we hitchhiked. I remember getting rides in trucks and stuff, sleeping on the side of the freeway in the bushes. Mosquito City. It was really, really bizarre. But we made it to Florida. I remember sleeping on the beach there, and I was just both of us were alcoholics, right? We had enough money just to drink the whole way there. We get there, and Gene decides like we slept on the beach the first night. I don't even We might have actually slept on the beach a couple of nights because I don't we didn't have a lot of money because he talked me into stripping. Which I had to get drunk to do. But I mean, I made tips the first night, so we were able to get a hotel room. But and he would stand on the corner and sell newspapers. So what he did was he would sell just enough that he could buy a six pack of beer and wait for me to get home from work. Yeah. And so I was stripping at a bar called the Playmate Lounge. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. I worked there for a couple years, and that was some pretty dark times. I remember being in the car with a couple of there was, I think her name was Diana. She didn't strip anymore. She was the bartender. She didn't strip. Every once in a while, she would get drunk and do a little strip because she could get a lot of money because she was really cute. But mostly she didn't. She had a couple kids, and her boyfriend owned a bait shop next door, and she was a good person. I mean, she genuinely was kind to me, right? That I remember. I don't remember her and Vivian. I don't remember ever being super cruel to me. I mean, but we were all strippers in the same bar, right? And that was a trip. I remember driving with them down into the streets somewhere. It was in Hollywood, Florida, was where I was doing this, and we had driven down into the streets. I mean, it was where literally people would reach into our car with hands full of rock cocaine, and we would give them a $20 or a $40 or however much and grab, like they would say, what do how much you want. You would tell them, and they would either give you a choice of $20 rocks or however, right? And then we would go back to the strip bar and go into the bathroom and smoke it. And I remember I like doing that a lot. I remember a lot of nights doing a lot of drugs, smoking a lot of drugs. There was a bartender, his name was Buddy, and he worked at a bar. I can't remember what it was, but I remember Rodney Dangerfield came in there, and I remember he would get, I mean, like, yeah, coke for sex, right? I mean, it was kind of that was how I lived, right? I Who am I to judge the person on the corner that who am I to judge anybody, and who is anybody to judge anybody, right? The whole time, like all this time I was running, right? Running, running, running. I was running from abuse and pain and neglect and anger and fear, right? I mean, I was just running. And it's funny because I remember, like I said, when I was bartending at the Playmate Lounge, I met this guy, which I guess this was his thing. This is what he did. His name was Richard Gott. And he was a firefighter. He was a lieutenant for the fire department. And he got me a job working at a place called Points of America as a housekeeper. and he got me an apartment, and he got me out of the Playmate Lounge, and he got me set up, but I was not what, like, he wanted kids. It just, he did get me out of there, but he wasn't the thing for me, right? And I wasn't the thing for him. And I remember getting all drunk with him, being like, "Oh my God, I'll never be able to have kids." And the poor guy of mine, he was just like, "Jesus, lady, all I was trying to do was help." But that's what he did. He did that with a lot of the strippers. So it wasn't just me. That was who Robert was, or Richard was, right? But I remember one time we were cleaning his car, and this cop pulled us over because they thought it was a hooker, which I wasn't. Like, I never flat out did that, even though that is what happened. But I have to say, many, many women, how somehow, I mean, come on, Melania Trump, let's face it, right? I'm not the, she just was more beautiful, so she got more money. That's all. So that's, yeah, I'll just drop the mic right there and get back to what I was talking about. So I was at the Playmate Lounge. It's funny because I owed my mom some money for something. I can't remember what it was for. But I was the guy, Danny, who owned the Playmate Lounge, right? I was having him write checks to send to my mom. Like $500 checks a pop. And he wasn't doing it. And she never told me, right? So the guy was pocketing my fucking money and my mom never told me. I mean, I wonder why I have trust issues, right? My mom sold my car without telling me too. I mean, come on. But anyway, so whatever. Richard got me out of the Playmate Lounge and I started working at Points of America. Then, and I was drinking. I've been an alcoholic all my life, right? I don't drink anymore, but I drank all my life. I started drinking at 12 and I drank all through high school and all through, well, junior high, obviously, because, I just drank. But I, and so Richard couldn't take it, and I caught him with someone, and I got mad, blew up, and quit that job, and ended up working at a kosher restaurant. I can't remember the name of it, but I really like that place. I love the owner and the person that hired me. I wish I could remember her name. Jenny. Her name was Jenny, and maybe that's why I've liked Jenny, just because of the name Jenny. My other boss was named Ira, and he was really cool too. Like one time I had a customer on the phone who kept putting me on hold, and I was like, "This woman puts me on hold one more time, and I'm hanging up." And she comes back on and it's like, "Let me talk to your boss," which I did, and he told her, "Yeah, well, she was busy and you kept putting her on hold." So I really like that man. But anyway, at the time I started dating this young kid named Trent, which looking back, he was 18. I mean, I know he was 18. He wasn't younger than 18, but I don't think he was 19. I don't think he was 21, which that's pretty fucked up. Now that I think about it, how old was I? I was No, because I couldn't have been. I was in my early 20s, so I don't think I was a whole lot older than him. But I know he wasn't 21, so it was kind of weird. But um he and I lived with him and his dad, and I had like a car and a fridge and all this stuff. And again, I drank a lot. Was drunk a lot, and I think his dad actually probably I should have been with his dad, not him. Obviously, I don't know what I was doing, but anyway, I moved in with them and his dad, like I said, and I went home to go see my mom in California. And the woman at the restaurant, whose name was Jenny, I was talking to her on the phone. And I was asking about Trent, and she said, "Well, pretty much he and his dad packed up and moved, right? Like all your stuff is gone. They are gone, and your stuff is gone." And I was on the phone all the way across the country going, "Oh, well, I guess I'll stay in California." So I did. I didn't go back to Florida. I stayed in California and I started working at an Eppie's restaurant again. And I started hanging out with this girl who hung out with in high school named Tammy Guidi, who was really manipulative. And she ended up sleeping with one of my boyfriends and really hurting me. They all did that to me. That happened to me when I first moved out at 15 too. My girlfriend Nikki did that to me. I don't know if she slept with them or not, but they definitely took off and left me, my boyfriend and her, and would go do stuff without me for hours and hours and hours. But anyway, when I came back from Florida, I started working at Eppie's again and I tried meth for the first time. Now I had been doing crack cocaine, and cocaine and smoking crack cocaine, right? We had like we mixed it with I don't know some weird shit and turned it into crack. But then I started doing meth, and I remember the first time I tried meth, I was like, never will I do that again. And I did. I did do it again. And again, and again, and again, and again for 3 years, every day for 3 years. I did meth. That was crazy. Those were some crazy times. I got down to like 98 pounds. And where did I work then? So I worked at Epi's, and then that blew up. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I worked at a place called Tom and Jerry's Carpets. I've always like cleaned houses or done stuff like that on the side. Where else did I work? Because I know I was, I remember. Oh, wow. Yeah, those jobs. Wow, I've done some pretty fucked up shit. And I mean, as on my end, I worked when I was strung out. I remember I was taking care of this quadriplegic man, and all I really had to do was be there at night and cook him some meals and stuff. And I was with Roland Diaz, he was abusive. And I would leave that guy alone at night. I remember that. Yeah, that was pretty fucked up of me. I was a mess, right? So I do remember though he was hiring again, and I asked if I could just maybe go there until he could find someone, and they were like, no. He said he didn't think he would live through it. So uh, that makes me feel kind of bad. But I did do that for a while. I also worked for a man named Chuck York, and he was nice to me. He kind of we dated off and on a little bit, I guess. He probably would have been good for me if I would have just settled down and married his ass, if he would have really wanted me. He was a nice guy, you know? So he had some decent money. So I did some work for him. Um, and I fucked him over too. Um, Trying to think of what happened. Oh, and then I was bartending for my mom. Like when I finally, I was working at, no, when I went to Chungking, I was sober. No, I went there twice. I worked at Chungking Chinese restaurant when I was strung out on meth, and then I got sober on the meth. Like I quit using meth. Um, and I don't know why that was. I think because Roland just started seeing this other chick, and like I loved him so much. God, I loved Roland Diaz. We had a lot in common, really. We did a lot of fun stuff together, you know, even though he was really, really abusive and really, really mean. He also had that side of him that was really, really kind. Like I said, that we all have that, right? Like I have little mean Elm who can be mean. But I am really pretty good at keeping her put away. He was not good at keeping that side of him put away. Um, I went through some shit with that man. He told me one time if I got pregnant, he would kill me. I believe he would have. I don't think anybody would have ever found me though. he was he was good at going out into the freaking countryside and getting lost. So anyway, so I got sober and I was bartending for my mom, working at Chungking Chinese Kitchen, and I met Dwight Johnson, and he asked me to marry him, and I did, and I did not love him. I didn't even really like him very much. I don't think he liked me either, to tell you the truth. He too was a bigot. His family too was like that, which is weird because it's the total opposite of me, right? So the fact that I ended up like, and actually what's really weird is when I got with him, I quit, like I didn't really do anything. I didn't really drink. I had quit using meth. I smoked pot a little bit, but I was bulimic. That's what happened. I started doing I started, no, I didn't. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That is what I did. We were together for, I gained weight first because we were together for about a year. And like, I just lived with him before he, before he moved. So what happened was we got together. I moved with him really quickly. I was working like bartending and stuff and working at the Chinese restaurant, and helping take, like, me, him, and his mom all lived together, and his sister was a really bad alcoholic. So I did start drinking pretty heavily with her. But when I first got with him, I wasn't, like, I was the designated driver because I had just gotten sober and I wasn't drinking a whole lot at that point. And yeah, I remember when we got married, his sister was really mad at me because we had used meth the night before and I said something about her, and her friend heard, and oh, it was so stupid. She said she was supposed to play piano at my wedding and said she wasn't going to. But anyway, so when I met him, he, right after, like, just before we got married, he quit his job and started a job at a logging camp in Alaska called Silver Bay Logging. I'm getting tired of talking. So now that I've told my story up to this far, Silver Bay Logging, there's so much in between all of that. You know what I mean? It's like I like Roland. I mean, the stuff the abuse that I allowed myself to be put through now to me is sad and kind of enlightening because it does solidify what I thought my worth was, what I had been led, what I learned my worth was, right? I mean, at a very young age, I remember being caught with my grandpa and my grandma coming unfucking glued, and I was a little girl and didn't even know why, right? Um, yeah, but I was special, and that was where I learned that, um, it's crazy to me because I know I'm not alone, right? I know there are so many of us out there that are just fighting. And like I said, now, like, once you get away from those people, then you go into jobs and you're treated like that and you have to put up with that in order to feed your family. I mean, what the hell? When does it ever get better? Right? And the only saving grace right now is that I have been doing these videos and I've learned to love myself and realize that I didn't ask for any of that. That wasn't my fault. I didn't. Yes, I made choices when I became an adult. Unfortunately, I was taught at a very young age what my worth was, right? But that is not true because that is not what my worth is, right? So, but it's funny, even now, like I don't know, like my mom is still alive. So, this is hard for me. I don't think she can even comprehend much anymore. So, I don't know that she would ever even watch this or know what I'm saying. But even now, when I was older, I feel as if I were peddled to old men, right? Here's my beautiful young daughter. I know you think she's attractive and you're attracted to her, even though you're 60 years old. Right? I mean, it's just kind of gross. And I look back on that. And I mean, my mom got me a fake ID when I was really young. And when I was 21, I was working in the bar with her around all these old leches, right? And she was proud of that I was her daughter and that they thought I was attractive. That was gross, right? And so I grew up thinking that that was right and that was okay. And I remember a lot of times, like a lot of the jobs I've had, the majority of the jobs I had, I did my job and I kept my mouth shut. And I was treated that way. And what really, really gets me now is that I'm being treated that way by women. Women, man, right? I mean, come on. Have you guys not been through this? I can't, I can't fathom that, right? That's where I just, it's like they're powerless at home, so they come in and take the control. I don't know. It's pretty bad. But anyway, I need to get some artwork done. It's 110, but I need to get a couple pieces done to sell. And I have tomorrow. I've got to go. I'm really gonna hope I get this cleaning job. I don't want to count on anything. I'm just because I don't want to be disappointed. But I'm gonna go put in a resume at the ocean, so at least I'll be at the ocean already, right? Anyway, I am going to talk about my jobs. This is darkness and light, right? This gets to go in darkness and light. This is an affirmations. It is a reminder for me, though, that all this bullshit that they try to sell you for $29.95 or whatever they try to tell you, in my view, will not change your world. It will change. Well, that's not true. It does change your world. Once you change your life, it changes your world. It does not change the world. Let me rephrase that. But I don't know. I'm gonna do a read, and then I'm gonna go do some artwork. But first, I'm gonna go to the ladies' room because I'm drinking tea, and I'm a 57-year-old woman who has had children. All right, be right back. This is another thing that's frustrating. So since I've lost weight, like I've lost, I don't know how much have I lost, like 50 pounds, I think, something like that, but which is good because I feel a lot better, right? And I can run and jump and play and I can clean, I can work. Like I didn't sit one time when I was working at the college the whole time I was there because I just didn't want to, right? So I've lost like 50 pounds, but now it gets cold so easy, and we can't afford to heat our house, so it's always freezing. So I can't get enough clothes on these days. It's kind of like but that's cool. I am feeling better. I like the fact that I'm healthier, right? Unfortunately, I'm healthier. I'll just drop that there. So I am gonna read. That's what I was gonna do. I need to find a video. It's Scott Buckley. I need to put his links on my stuff. I feel really bad. I don't even think anyone's listening to Darkness and Light, so I'm not quite sure that it matters, but I mean it does. I try to do it on all of them, but I need to get more organized, I guess, with this. Let's see. I'm gonna do probably just a short read. I do like this video here, I think. So let's try this one. I like the beginning of it, I think, and I know I like the music. I just am hoping it sounds okay. So, and I'm actually gonna read some words. Let's see, where am I gonna go? I'm gonna try to do a whole one. And I'm just gonna try to stick to what I'm reading and not get any ad-libbing because my brain goes somewhere it shouldn't, right? Um, yeah. Oh my God, this is so annoying. The stupid on my chat, it's telling me love face, jerk off adventures, wet girls. Are you kidding me? Can I make those go away? Um, Hide user. Oh no, I want to delete it. I don't want this message. Remove. Report too. Okay, I guess I don't really report it because this is YouTube and they can do whatever they want, right? I just need to remove them. How many are there? Oh my gosh. I have all these stupid videos or things that are saying girls, girls, girls on my chat. That's annoying. Anyway, whatever. I don't need girls, girls, girls. Thanks. Alright, I'm gonna read. Okay. I am moving through this day with a deep feeling of gratitude. I am judging nothing. I am forgiveness. I am calm. I am talented. I am successful. I am creating each moment that is unfolding in front of me. Each thought that I am thinking is creating my truth. I am opening my soul to the universe and accepting all of the positive possibilities that are being offered to me. I am surrounding myself with love. I am internal love. I am internal calm. I am internal peace. I am allowing myself the confidence to walk away from any form of mistreatment, as I am more than worthy. I am more than valuable, and I am more than enough. I am believing in who I am. I am believing in who I am becoming. I am acknowledging that there is an understanding that comes with this growth. It is not always easy, nor it is always nor is it always without pain. I am acknowledging these truths with acceptance, as I am aware that this contributes to my growth. I am growth. I am change. I am moving forward in confident positivity. I am evolving. Each moment opening in front of me is new, and each is of my making. I am grounded. I am the architect, and I am the builder of my life. The strength in my spirit and the peace in my soul create an unfaltering foundation. I am in this moment. I am allowing myself to just be, to be still. I am okay. I am more than okay. I am more than enough. I am an amazing soul, and I have been gifted this amazing life. And in this moment, I am truly grateful for everything. I am grateful for everywhere I have been. I am grateful for everywhere I am going. And I am grateful for you. Thank you. Blessings, beautiful soul.